What's going on there? My name is Kyle, and today I'm going to be doing something a little more original. It's you've probably never seen it on the internet, but it's going to be a camera bag setup kind of walkthrough. I know, super original, but I haven't really seen a lot of real estate, photography / videography camera bag setups. I've seen a ton of other camera bag setup videos, but I'm going to try and be a little original in that aspect and switch it up a little bit today. So let's start the video. Okay, so first, a little background. I do pretty much all real estate media, so photo, video, drone, 3D tour, as well as kind of one-on-one with agents, as well as just the house itself. And I've been doing that for about a year or so now. I've been doing photography for a long time, but really just got into real estate photography and videography when the whole pandemic and stuff started. So this is going to be a more real estate photo video kind of centered bag review and kind of walkthrough. So first, most important I think is the bag itself. This is a pretty popular bag I've seen. It's the ProTactic BP450AW2. This is a pretty popular bag just because it fits so much and the capacity, it holds a lot. It was between this and the Peak Design bag, and I just didn't like the shelving system. I like to just kind of lay my bag down, and if you're a real estate photographer or videographer, you kind of know you just kind of lay all your equipment out in your trunk or whatever, and I just like having this little back zipper thing. You kind of just fold these like straps over. You just kind of have these zippers on the back, and it kind of just like lays out this whole thing, and I can see all of my equipment. I'm not reaching into the shelf, nothing against the Peak Design. This just kind of seemed to fit my needs a little better. But overall, it's a super good camera bag. Lots of kind of little strap points on here and tons of pockets. Got a little tripod thing on the side. A little kind of pocket here on the upper part. It's like a hard shell. I don't really use it that much. Like I said, I just kind of unzip this whole back and I'm just looking at all my gear at once. Because usually I'm just taking everything from the bag and putting it all together, which will make sense in a little bit. But again, this is just kind of a quick little walkthrough of the bag. I'm not going to go in too depth on each individual item. But first thing is going to be the camera. I'm actually shooting on it right now. I'll have some B-roll going right now. But I use the Canon R6. I just feel like since I'm doing photo and video, it just works perfectly for both of those things. So when I was doing my research, it was probably between the R6 and the R5. It's just the R5, as I'm sure you know, is a lot more expensive, like $1,000 more expensive. And I felt like for the price with this camera and the quality and the versatility of both photo and video kind of just worked out for me. So this works perfectly well for me. It has, I think, about 20 or so megapixels, so it does the job for real estate. Sometimes I wish I had the R5 just for the more megapixels. Sometimes with real estate, you want everything to be super fine detail, but sometimes, the majority of the time, the agents aren't really gonna notice the difference. But when it comes to video and the photo, just all in one package, it just made sense to get the R6. Sitting on the Canon EOS R6 is gonna be the 50mm. It's, I believe, the EF mount. I have a EF RF kind of mount adapter, not with the control ring, but the 50mm is more for kind of detailed shots, or if I'm doing like client testimonials or videos with agents, I kind of want more of that blurrier background. This is definitely the lens that I use. I don't use it that much, but I do definitely use it, especially for like kind of more close-up shots, like if you're getting like the details in the countertops of the kitchen or in a bathroom or the faucets, whatever you want to showcase. This is a perfect lens just because it has such a low aperture. The main lens that I use, and I use this all the time, is going to be the 17 to 40mm. This is the f4. If you're doing real estate photos and video, you're gonna need a wide angle lens. A couple different options, the 16 to 35. Those are kind of the two options. I wouldn't go any wider than this just because you kind of get the vignetting on the sides and stuff in the corners. This is the perfect thing for both photo and video. I'll put it all the way down to 17mm, and then when I shoot video, I kind of put 24mm when I'm walking through the house. And then if I'm doing like an intro outro with an agent, I'll just put it to 35mm. And f4 is perfectly enough, wide open enough. Not a super blurred background, but it gets the job done. But this is definitely my go-to main lens that I use. It's the EF mount. Of course, I would love to go with like the RF 16-35 or even the EF 16-35. This does the job well enough, and it's $800, I think. Still, it goes on sale a lot compared to like the 16-35, which is like $1,000+. So if you're looking to kind of get into real estate photo and video, this is definitely a great option. So I'm just kind of going in order here of things that I use. I'll kind of start with like the more main things that I have. Those are the two main priority lenses that you really only need for real estate photo and video. Not everyone is going to use in photo and video, or mainly photo, but I use a Speedlite. So some photographers I know just do kind of more of an ambient, just like 3-stop, 4-stop, kind of multiple exposure shooting. I like window pulls. You can do that with bracketed shooting, but I feel like you just don't get that great of a window pull. So what I do is kind of a mix of ambient and window pull, and I just blend it in Photoshop. So I have this Canon Speedlights, the 470EX AI. And there's a couple different options. Godox has an option that I see a lot of real estate photographers use. I just had this one on me before I even got into the kind of industry, and it works perfectly. So I use it with a Godox system because I didn't want to pay, I think it's like $300 for the kind of remote system, since this isn't sitting on the camera. I'm using it kind of wherever the window is. So I need something that kind of sends a signal to the flash to go off. I have this Godox system. One's the XPro-C, C just being Canon, and then the X1R-C. So one's the receiver and then one's the transmitter. So this goes on the camera itself, and then this goes on the actual Speedlight on the bottom, and that just allows it to kind of translate. I don't want to buy a $300 transmitter. So I was like, well, I'll just go with the cheaper Godox system, and it works perfectly well. And then a part of that, something that's kind of a big accessory, since I'm going through all the big parts of what I use. This is a kind of a shoulder strap, so I use it, usually it's used for a camera, but with this kind of Godox system here, I have this little attachment here that I can screw this shoulder strap in, and I just put the flash right on my side, because before I like set it down, I put on a counter as I kind of go through the house, and it just got really annoying. So I saw someone using something kind of like this, and I said, well, that's perfect. And it is. It just sits on your side. You go for a window pull, because you're not using it the whole time unless you're doing flambient, which I have done depending on the size of the house and the quality and the expense, you know, how expensive the house is. But this is definitely something I would recommend if you're doing window pulls or flambient. It just makes your life a lot easier and just puts on your side a little holster, bring it up, flash, put it back, you don't have to worry about it. So one of my other main tools that I use to capture both photo and video for real estate is a drone. I'm actually a licensed pilot in California here, and so this is a huge tool for me for both photo and video. I don't use it all the time. Agents aren't always asking for a drone, but it depends on where it is. In the place that I currently live, there's a lot of kind of beautiful landscapes and kind of more hilly areas, and a lot of agents like to showcase that. Maybe there's a park nearby, maybe there's a big corporate kind of square or area that they want to show off. Anything that helps sell the property. This is definitely a huge tool. This is the Mavic Air 2, the DJI. Amazing. 48 megapixels. I think it has up to 4K, 60 frames per second. It's perfect. I got the Fly More, so I have like 3 batteries, some filters, and then the controller, and it kind of all just sits in here. And it comes with a bag. It's honestly a perfect kind of little combo thing that you can buy. I almost went with the Air 2S for almost the same price. I could get the Fly More. And when you're doing these real estate, especially if you have 2 shoots in a day or 2 full shoots, it's nice having 3 different batteries that I can just fully charge, not have to worry about it. The controller charges my phone, and having this nice little bag. I have all my kind of license and stuff in here, in my wallet as well. So if anyone asks, I can just easily pull that out. This is definitely a huge tool that I use for both photo and video. The next thing on the more accessory kind of main things that you're probably going to need if you're doing mainly real estate video is going to be a gimbal. So I personally chose DJI just because I know there's a couple other brands out there. I forget the other name, but they have like the Crane is kind of the equivalent. But I just went with DJI because I have the drone, and I just have a lot of other friends that use kind of this brand of gimbal. But if you're going to be doing video, you're going to need this gimbal. And sadly enough to say, I've seen media creators not use this when they do video for real estate, and you can tell. So if you can afford a gimbal, I know they kind of have more cheaper options that I'm sure work just as well, but this is the RSC-2, I believe, and it works amazing. I love this thing. I have a small rig attachment that kind of goes on the side here. It's like a little handle, and this is great. It just makes that kind of buttery, silky smooth kind of footage when you're walking through the house for video. And this is definitely a must-have if you're going to be doing video. Again, you can probably find cheaper options out there. I think it's like the $200-300 range for this one, and this works perfect for the Canon R6. But this is definitely something that you're going to need if you're doing video for real estate. The next thing, almost need a back brace to carry this thing. If you're doing real estate photo and video, you're probably, if you want to offer kind of more packages, more services to your clients, your agents, you're going to want to do 3D. Do you need Matterport's $3,000-4,000 3D camera, 4K 3D camera? Probably not. I know it was at Zyka. They had like the V1. I'm not sure all the options, but there's a different brand that's pretty popular that works with Matterport, the company. If you don't know, Matterport does both the processing part of 3D tours, so you can use even your phone if you wanted to, but they also sell this camera. It's like $3,000 or $4,000. I know sometimes it goes on sale, but this just gives you the highest of quality for 3D tours. Probably gonna get asked a lot if you do 2D floor plans. Not as common as 3D tours. 3D tours, especially after the pandemic, were really popular, but this is an incredible thing. It's really expensive, so it goes in a nice expensive case over here. And I just use for cases, I use the Nanuk, I think they're called. You can get them on like B&H. They're somewhat cheap compared to Pelican, but this definitely needs a case like that to kind of sit in there. If you're going to be doing 3D tour and you want to invest a little more, I know some people that just do 3D tour and make some decent money from that, but I carry this not all the time, but when I'm doing a 3D tour or even just a 2D floor plan, this is definitely sitting in the trunk of my car. So little accessories that you're going to need, little tiny things, don't cost too much, but they're definitely going to make your life a lot easier. One of those things being the Canon BRE1. This is their kind of remote kind of shutter that they sell just from Canon itself. I know they have a more expensive one that has like a screen, I think, on it, but it's like $100, I think, maybe cheaper than that, maybe 70, 80. You're gonna want this. You can set like a 2-second, 10-second timer and then go kind of walk through the house. This just makes your life a lot easier, especially if you're doing the kind of window pulls and the flambient or whatever you're doing. It's nice just to be able to like 5-10 feet away from the camera and just go like this and press that button. You have a little focus button on there. Definitely a must-need accessory. It just makes your life easier. And when you're walking through a house, maybe once, twice, 3 times in just one shoot, it just makes your life a lot easier. You don't have to worry about it. Another thing, quick little accessory. These aren't super expensive. I forget the brand. This one says JJC, but this is just a little SD card kind of holder. I have one obviously in the camera and a couple other places, but I just have my little SD cards in here. Has a little kind of foam insert, keeps them all safe. I like the 2-sided ones because it kind of helps me organize. So if I have like a full card and I'm gonna do another house, I like to keep them on 2 separate cards. The way that I do it. And it's nice having kind of a 2-sided kind of card case holder. So you can put like maybe the empty ones on one side and the full ones on the other side. Another accessory that's I think is very important if you're doing more on the video side is going to be an ND, a variable ND filter. So this one's by Tiffen. It comes in this cool little case. You're gonna need it if you're doing video. I went with it for a little bit, then I was like, I just need it, because when you're doing video sometimes, especially with houses, you might have a really bright outside exterior of the house. You can only do so much on your kind of camera settings, but this is super nice. So you can keep all of your settings. So if you're doing 60 FPS and then you want to keep 120 shutter speed, you don't have to mess with those settings just because you have this, and you turn it if it's too bright, you turn it down to darken. But this one's really good by Tiffen, but this is definitely a necessity if you're doing video. You can put it off for as long as you want, but eventually you're just going to realize it's something that you need. Another one that I have, this one's also by Tiffen, is a Polarizer Filter. I used to use this for like car photography as well. It kind of cuts down on the shadows and the reflections on the windows of the cars. Kind of has the same effect with houses. Sometimes you get some weird reflections on the windows. One of the main things that you can use these for is when you're on the inside and you start doing real estate photography, you're going to have a lot of light coming through the windows, and it looks somewhat normal to the eye, especially if there's a lot of hardwood floors. You're going to see a lot of kind of these light marks on the floor. I don't know what they're actually called, but that's what I call them. Like these light marks that are on the floor, and usually they have like a bluish tint to them. When you get in post, it's going to be a pain in the ass. I don't always use this, just depends. If it's staged, carpeted, you're not going to get them. But if it's hardwood, then this is just something nice to have. It's a little circular polarizer filter, again by Tiffen, and you just match it to whatever your wide angle lens is. Another kind of big accessory that I almost missed is going to be mics. The Rode, the Wireless Go 2. It's their wireless mic system. I have one on right here. And then I have a second one. So a lot of times you're going to be doing intro outros for more bigger kind of houses that are in the, you know, $1, $2, $3, $5 million range. Typically is what I find. Agents are going to be asking for intro outros. I also do client testimonials. So I sit their clients down. Maybe they just helped them buy a home, and they're saying all the good things that they love about the agent. There might be 2 people. So I just love this wireless system by Rode. I have it on the camera right now. But it comes with these 2 kind of little things. One's in my pocket right now, and then one's right here as well. And you have a lavalier as well that plugs into it. And I just keep it all in this little Lowepro case that came with the backpack. And it's super nice, fits all in here. Have my lavaliers, plug it in, put the one kind of transmitter on the top of the camera, and then I put these in the agent's pockets or the client's pocket. Run the little kind of lavs up through and just clip it onto their button shirt or whatever it is, or their blouse. And it's super nice to have. There's other systems out there, a lot cheaper systems. I just love Rode. I just love kind of the way that it works, the audio quality and everything like that. But if you're doing video, more like talking video with real estate, this is definitely something that you're going to need. Another thing that I can't show you because the camera's sitting on it is going to be a tripod. I use a Manfrotto. I believe it's a 290 Extra, and it comes with their kind of 3-way tilt tripod head. I wouldn't recommend it. I would love like a ball tripod mount head, but you're gonna need a tripod. I've seen people recently on TikTok that are hand-holding going, or like handheld going through the whole property. That's great, but when you're doing bracketing, you can't be moving. And you know, the quality that I put out with all of my work, I want it to all be still. I want it to be the highest of quality, and you're gonna need a tripod. They're not too expensive. You can obviously go peak design route and spend like $300-400, but like this one I think was around the $200-300 range. But you're gonna need a tripod mainly for photo. I do use this for video as well when I'm doing like agent work. If I'm doing intro outros, it's gonna be on the gimbal, but if I'm doing anything that's stationary, they're sitting down like clients usually, it's gonna be on tripods. You use it a lot. So it's definitely something you want to keep kind of in your arsenal. Other little things is a cleaning kit. This one's by Sensei. It has the little blower thing, you blow lens. I use that thing all the time. I use the cloth in here as well. Sometimes a lens kind of spray cleaning thing that comes with it, as well as the little brush. I use all of that all the time. It's like $20-30. You could probably find it less for that on Amazon. A super important little tiny accessory that you should definitely keep in your bag. Things like a lens hood. Another accessory. When you're outside, you're gonna get a lot of lens flares depending on what time you're shooting of the day. Put it on for photos, even video. You're not gonna get the little lens flares when you go and post and you see a little splotch on the grass and you go, shh, where did that come from? It's a lens flare. Just kind of keep this on there. If it's a super bright day or whatever, wherever the sun is, depending on when you're shooting, little accessory. Usually they come when you buy the 17-40, it comes with it, you don't have to buy it. This is kind of the flower design. So it just super wide angle lenses, and it helps a lot with photo and video as well. A couple other things that I'm not gonna show, but I'll just tell you about is just headphones. I keep some Apple headphones with me. I'm not doing anything super high production. I don't have a whole team with me yet, but I just use Apple, like the little plug. They used to give you the plug-in kind of headphones with I think it's a 3.5mm headphone jack. Fits right into the camera. I can hear the audio. Usually I have to kind of plug over my ears because they're not over-ear headphones, modern headphones. But it's just nice on the go. I don't want to plug in these big old headphones. I just have them, plug them in, do my little video. It's like a minute, 2-3 minutes, and then I'm on my way. That's definitely another accessory that I carry. And then lastly, one of the little more kind of last little tiny accessories that is super important is batteries. My flash, my receiver, and my transmitter all use batteries. So to help with that, I just got the rechargeable ones. I went through so many batteries, it's insane, just because you leave usually your flash on throughout the whole shoot. So I just got the rechargeable. I believe these are by Duracell. And then I got the Manfrotto kind of charge cube. So that charges 2 batteries, 2 camera batteries at once, and then it charges batteries like the AA's as well on top. So that's another good investment. A little more expensive, but definitely a good investment. The batteries were last, but I was already talking about batteries, so let's talk about camera batteries. They come in this little pouch. I don't know what brand this is, but I have 4 batteries. So I have one Canon branded battery, and then the rest are these like DigiPower ones. You can buy them at Best Buy. They don't last as long as the Canon branded ones, but those, as I'm sure you know, are a little more expensive. And obviously for different brands, you're gonna have different batteries. You're gonna need camera batteries. You're gonna need at least, I say, 3 to 4, depending on how many shoots. If you're doing photo and video, you're gonna need 3 to 4. I fully charge these things. I probably go through about maybe 2 to 3 if I have like 2 busy shoots or if I have a busy week in general. But just having that 4th extra one is just super nice, just in case. You never know, if it's a hot day, the battery's gonna drain super quick, your camera's gonna overheat, and it's nice to have at least 3 to 4, and they fit nice and perfectly in this little pouch here. But that's pretty much my whole kind of camera bag, what I carry to the actual shoots themselves. I have my MacBook Pro, but I'm not carrying that to a shoot. That's something I use, but it's not in my bag. And like, again, I haven't seen a lot of real estate photo and video kind of photography, videography camera bag setups. I've seen tons of other camera bag setups for all other industries, but this is definitely kind of what you need. You don't need more, you don't need less. You could go more, but there's no real point. This just gets the job done. But I just want to kind of show through and showcase the whole bag. I love the bag. I love all the things that sit in it. I love these little cases. It's a lot to carry, but it makes the client, the agents happy, and they really like the high quality product that you're able to produce with all of this equipment. But yeah, again, my name is Kyle. This has been a photo, real estate, video, kind of whole camera bag setup. If you want to see anything more real estate related or just photo related, tech related, go ahead and leave a like, comment below, and just let me know. Let me know what you want to see. If you want to see things kind of more in detail, like, you know, the drone or the gimbal or whatever it is, just let me know down in the comments. Subscribe. But again, this is Kyle, and thank you for watching the video.